Hey everyone, Kevin from FILMPAC here. In this video, I'm going to be cutting a branding ad for Alaska Airlines using only stock footage and music from FILMPAC's library. The brief for this ad is pretty simple. We want an immersive, captivating soft sell piece that inspires viewers to let Alaska Airlines help them create lasting memories. I want this to feel more like a short film than a commercial, but we only have 60 seconds. We also don't have time to film anything new for this, so we'll take advantage of FILMPAC's cinematic, narrative-based stock footage library to create this ad, and show that FILMPAC can provide all of the creative assets you need to tell a complete, authentic, quality story. I've already gone and added a ton of good clips to a new project folder in my FILMPAC account, and then I downloaded all of them. So hopefully we'll have all the assets we need right here. So let's get started. I wrote and produced a 60-second script and found the perfect song using FILMPAC's search filters. I then edited the track down a bit to the correct length, and I think it works perfectly with the VO. Here's what we're starting with.
What will you remember? The gentleness of the morning air, the brilliant painted skies, the thrill of discovering someplace new. The moments we remember are the ones that remind us what it's like to live freely and to feel deeply. Those times when nothing else mattered, when the world stopped for just long enough. Because when you think about it, your life is just a collection of memories, of moments, and these are all we have to remind us where we've been, who we are, and where we're going. But don't worry. When you're in the right place, at the right time, it becomes impossible to forget. So ask yourself, what do you want to remember?
Yeah, I think that flows together perfectly. You can see I did a little bit of audio sweetening, just with some automation here, keyframing on the music, a little bit on the voiceover, just to have everything sitting right. My vision for this is just offering the viewer a glimpse into moments. The tagline for this is moments worth remembering. So I really want to capture that energy and just show a ton of different good things happening to a ton of people. And then at the end of the day, we'll tie it in with Alaska Airlines can help get you there. Like I said, I have a ton of clips that I've downloaded and brought into the session here that we can pull from. And I want to start out with just sort of an introspective scene, almost as if she is thinking back on memories and, perhaps wanted to go make some more. Perfect. Tight shot of this same scene here, which I like. I like that FILMPAC's clips are grouped in this way into these scenes to where you can have multiple angles of the same action. I think it just makes it feel a little more organic, a little more believable, and a lot less like, quote unquote, stock footage. And my idea for this next part right here is that we're going to go into a sort of some quick cuts of some random memories. Sound design is going to be key here. So at the end of this, I'm going to add a bunch of sound design that's going to really help drive these sections and keep the energy up. I have these two shots. I like this shot. I like the way that cuts, the reveal of her on the surfboard there. And then the shot of this couple. There's a little bit of a camera jump here, so I'm probably going to cut out of that shot a little earlier. These will be quick. Like I said, the sound design is going to help a lot. That's looking good. And then I've got kind of this abstract underwater shot that'll really be a good transition for the next sequence. And before I get too far into this, we are going to make this kind of a widescreen aspect ratio. I have a overlay that we made here, kind of just a 2.35 to 1 deal. And what this does is basically mimics the aspect ratio of an anamorphic lens, which this footage is not anamorphic, but by creating this aspect ratio, we just keep things a little more cinematic. So this part, the gentleness of the morning air, I had a pretty specific shot in mind that I'd already come across on the site. And that is this one of these two in the hammock here. I really like it.
The gentleness of the morning air.
Perfect. I think that flows just fine. Remember that the key here is we're showing a lot of different places, a lot of different things happening in pretty much rapid succession. So we're going to be jumping around quite a bit in location, lighting, time of day, energy level, things like that. The next line I actually wrote because I had a specific shot in mind, and that is this one. It's just a really vivid, cool sunset that I think is going to play really well with some of these shots that are coming before and after.
The gentleness of the morning air. The brilliant painted sky.
Yeah, it's got a little kind of handheld motion vibe. I like it a lot. And we've got this really cool sunset shot that is pretty much the same color palette as the shot before it. I do want it to be faster though, so we're gonna go ahead and bump the speed up here. And at the very end, I want to cut in on this sun a little bit more. I normally don't do a lot of blowing up shots past 100%, but for quick cuts like this, I think it's just gonna add a cool little effect. Again, we'll address all these little cuts with some cool sound design.
Morning air. The brilliant painted skies.
As I was browsing the site, I found a lot of cool shots that were basically filmed out of the window of a driving car. And this is one of those situations where just browsing the footage on FilmPac, looking at collections, things like that, it can almost inspire you to go in a visual direction you would not have thought of before. I found these 3 shots. I like this one. It looks like it's Hawaii or somewhere tropical. Found this shot of, shows you the car mirror, gives you a little more context. And then this shot of a mountain, might be Mount Shasta. And the hand there, I think, adds a little human element to this sequence. And if we put them all together, it comes together real nice.
Skies. The thrill of discovering someplace new.
Someplace new. And I think I want a landscape, kind of just a cool scenic shot right there. This aerial shot in the desert, I think, will work perfect. For some of these shots on FilmPac, I just searched travel and found some really cool scenes. I like this shot of this girl walking on this road barefoot. Kind of just has like a wanderlust quality with it. It's a cool handheld cinematography.
The moment.
Yeah, I think it works great. And then here's a shot from kind of the same scene. You see what she's looking at. Similar countryside type deal as one of those earlier driving shots. A little bit of continuity there. And for this next sequence, I wanted to have some stark contrast between the brightness of this scene and what's going to come after it. So I found this cool campfire sequence. I think I combined 2 different scenes for this, but these shots are going to go together really well. And like I said, I like the contrast between the brightness here and sort of the warmth and coziness of this campfire.
Remember are the ones that remind us what it's like to live freely.
Yeah, that works great. And this next sequence is one I stumbled across just by accident. I found this shot and I liked it a lot. This girl's out here playing in bubbles. And I just like the motion of her turning around. She's going a different direction than the bubbles. It's just there's a lot going on in the shot, and I like it a lot. And then I just shortly afterwards found this shot of this girl, same girl from the earlier scene, and she's kind of doing that same motion. They're turning, and I kind of like to do this kind of stuff in my edits. Add a little bit of continuity between 2 completely different scenes, whether it's in the framing of the subjects, which we'll see a little bit later. I've got some shots lined up for that, or the motion that they're doing. So we have basically 2 people, completely different scenes, completely different locations, spinning in the same way, and I think it cuts together real nice.
Freely, and to feel deeply.
And to cap that off, I found this shot of this guy at the beach, and he's kind of doing the same thing. So I think we'll have 3 shots of people kind of turning in the same direction.
Freely, and to feel deeply.
A lot of the script has almost like a childlike hopefulness to it. So I wanted to have some shots of children looking hopeful. And this shot, I sped it up to 150 degrees to kind of get it back into real time. I really like the expression on his face. I like the color. I just like the location. Kind of ties into the campfire stuff from before. And I found this shot of this girl, doing similar thing, laying down on a blanket somewhere, probably looking up. I found this shot of this girl in a tent up somewhere in the desert, Grand Canyon looking area. It's a really cool shot. Kind of a reveal to the fact that she's in a tent. And I think this shot kind of embodies the perfect amount of adventure that we're going for with this ad. And we've got kind of a big pause moment right here in the script and in the music that I created on purpose.
Stopped for just long enough.
Before we kind of get into the main energy level of the edit. I found this shot of this guy. I think he's on top of one of the volcanoes in Hawaii. I really like this shot in this sort of gap here.
When the world stopped for just long enough. Because when you think...
I really want to kick this sequence off here with just a few landscape shots. Really just go heavy on the location aspect of what this client can offer people. And I like it to be pretty quick. So, you know, we've got our downbeats here.
Because when you think about it,
kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to be hitting a different cut every single one of those downbeats. So I found this shot of this girl walking in front of a mountain. I think it's pretty epic. That's probably what I want to start with here. This shot here of Horseshoe Bend, I like the way that it, I just like the foreground parallax. I like the way that this shot's going left to right. This one's going kind of up and down. I think they just cut together nice. And then we've got this shot of the coast somewhere. Yeah, left to right, up and down, left to right. Whenever I'm cutting together aerials like this, I try to have them be at least a little bit different in the motion. I think it just makes it more dynamic. Hot air balloons in front of Mount Rainier. Alaska is kind of a Pacific Northwest based company, so getting some shots in here that are very obviously within their territory, I think it's on brand, and it just suits the ad really well. And I found one more scenic shot of these guys standing on top of this ridge here. I found these two shots that I like a lot of people running away from the camera, holding hands. First one is at the beach, and then there's these guys in a field. So again, similar frame, similar action, completely different location and mood. But when you put them right together, I think it helps sell that notion of there's lots of things happening here at the same time.
Of memories, of moments, and
I found this shot when I was searching too, and I really wanted to find a place for it, and I think this is the spot. I just love the camera motion here. Just the combination of her spinning around and the camera wrapping around her. It's just an awesome shot.
And these.
As I cut these shots together, you'll notice that I'm pretty much staying on either the downbeat or the middle of a measure of any of these important spots in the song. That's just kind of something that I naturally do, and I think for a spot like this that has a voiceover music, it's going to have sound effects, a lot going on visually. It helps sort of it keeps it from getting chaotic if these cuts are happening, you know, kind of on these beats.
Life is just a collection of memories, of moments, and these.
You'll also notice that I'm kind of editing these in little sequences, and I think for this spot that works really well. I found these shots of people laughing. I think just these little miniature sequences, whether or not, you know, things have themes going from here to here, going from landscapes. I like these little sections, kind of they're their own little story, but they're all fitting into the bigger narrative. Found these cool shots of like sparkler. It's a little cliche, but I think the way that we've added these to the edit makes it work. It's always visually appealing when you have sparklers. Kind of the same deal as those people spinning earlier. I found a shot of this girl running through a field, and then these people running through a forest, and you know, they're framed similarly. Got them both up to real time, and when you put them together, I think it's just a cool little cut. It flows really well.
It's where we've been, who we are, and where we're going.
Needed a couple more shots to get us into our final sequence. I sped them both up to get them to real speed. Just some more beach stuff going with some of the earlier shots we had.
And where we're going.
I want to kick this last build off the same way that we did kind of the first big energy part, which is with some landscape shots. I love this shot of this waterfall. Just the camera move is really visually interesting, I think. I wanted to also make sure to get a city in here. We don't have a lot of city stuff in this spot so far. It's a lot of scenic nature, which I think that's generally the brand. But, you know, Alaska does fly direct to New York City. They fly to Chicago. I believe they fly to Los Angeles as well. So we wanted to have some cityscape stuff in here. This is just another classic snowy mountains type shot, perfect for the brand. Shot of some seagulls at the beach. And then this shot of the Golden Gate Bridge is going to be critical because it's going to get us into the next shot that I found that gets us kind of out of this landscape, big picture aerials sequence and into more of a human interaction with these places. I found this shot of this girl taking a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I thought this was a great transition between this shot and this shot. kind of some more continuity. Here's the same girl from a couple of the other earlier scenes. I like this little sequence of them both taking videos or pictures on their phones. And then I found this shot of this girl with an actual camera. I just like the whole documenting theme for this little section.
At the right time, it becomes impossible to forget.
And then this last line, it becomes impossible to forget. I wanted something really just well composed, where the people are the center of focus of the shot, and I think that's this shot right here. Kind of time it to where they're clinking their glasses with that snare drum hit in the song. Little things like that, I think, just bring it all together.
It becomes impossible to forget.
And then kind of in that same landscape area, I found this shot of this girl rock climbing. I just took it right from the beginning of the clip. I like the energy of the camera move. This has been a very sort of real-time, handheld, just organic style that I've liked for this ad. And FILMPAC has had tons of these types of shots in terms of the cinematography, so it's been very helpful. For this last sequence, I just found a bunch of shots that I think would play well together with like kind of fast cuts. Starting out with this guy. Then I found one of this dancer lady looking in the mirror. These guys, it's like snowing. I like all these shots to be just like completely random, sort of just aspects of life that, you know, the client, Alaska, can help you get to and experience. Love this shot of this guy skydiving. Yeah, it would have been pretty hard for me to go film this myself, so this is why I am thankful for stock footage. Last couple shots, I really like these shots of, you know, people with their kids. That's some of the most important memories for a lot of people, and I wanted to really end the spot with those moments. And I've just got some graphics that I animated for the very end. Got kind of a logo animation, a tagline just using their font. And that kind of ties the whole spot in together. Moments worth remembering. I've just added a quick color grade on all these clips. I want to just warm them up a little bit, keep them consistent. This is where we were. This is where we're going. It's very subtle, but when you're dealing with stock footage, you want to just make sure everything's consistent. And that's one thing I really love about FILMPAC is their footage all looks very consistent. It's easy to create a story and not have these huge variances in color, stuff like that. So I've added just kind of a little finishing color grade on each of these shots to, you know, tie them all together. And the last thing I've gone and done is add all of this sound design. I think sound design is crucial for an edit like this where there's a lot of real-time stuff, a lot of fast cuts, just things that need some sound effects to help drive them along. So here's what the spot sounds like with only the sound design and voiceover, just to show you how much it's adding.
What will you remember? The gentleness of the morning air, the brilliant painted skies, the thrill of discovering someplace new. The moments we remember are the ones that remind us what it's like to live freely and to feel deeply. Those times when nothing else mattered. When the world stopped for just long enough. Because when you think about it, your life is just a collection of memories, of moments, and these are all we have to remind us where we've been, who we are, and where we're going. But don't worry. When you're in the right place, at the right time, it becomes impossible to forget. So ask yourself, what do you want to remember?
Nice. And we add the music in, and we have ourselves a finished commercial.
What will you remember? The gentleness of the morning air, the brilliant painted skies, the thrill of discovering someplace new. The moments we remember are the ones that remind us what it's like to live freely and to feel deeply. Those times when nothing else mattered. When the world stopped for just long enough. Because when you think about it, your life is just a collection of memories, of moments, And these are all we have to remind us where we've been, who we are, and where we're going. But don't worry, when you're in the right place, at the right time, it becomes impossible to forget. So ask yourself, what do you want to remember?
I think we nailed this project, and did so in a way that feels true to the brand at the highest quality level. The days of stock footage and music being simply filler items in the edit are over. With FILMPAC, you can deliver meaningful, cinematic, engaging content for your clients, again and again, without ever having to pick up a camera.